Okay, so we finished the slasher movie kills bracket, the A24 bracket, and the canine film protagonist bracket.
I like brackets.
Me too. Next up, we got the fictional spies bracket.
Nice.
Okay, so first up, James Bond or Ethan Hunt?
That's easy. It's James Bond. Ethan Hunt, he's barely a character.
Actually,
Jesus Christ.
you may want to rethink this.
Pat, how the fuck did you get in here?
The air vent. And I wouldn't be so quick to dismiss Ethan Hunt.
But who even is he? We don't know anything about him.
Look, I get what you're saying. How is it that the lead character in a series of 5 movies that have grossed billions of dollars has seemingly no defined personality or character traits or backstory? We know nothing about him. Or do we? I've thought way too much about this, and I think I finally have an answer to the question, who the hell is Ethan Hunt? To start, I want to go through movie by movie to see what characterization we can find, whether or not there's any growth or character arc. In the original Mission Impossible movie, Ethan Hunt is a young, cocky, confident IMF agent. We learn that he has a mother, that his father is dead, and that his family owns a dairy farm. So what can we take from this? Well, he probably had a pretty dull Midwest upbringing, an only child, no father. He probably went to a good college where he excelled, then joined the military, and was then recruited by the IMF. Then in the IMF, he gains a father figure in Jim Phelps. He doesn't seem to have any friends, but he gets along with his team. And then, on a mission, the whole team, including Phelps, dies. Ethan freaks out and then hooks up with Phelps' wife, Claire. So that's weird. Then Phelps turns out to be alive and betrays Ethan. Also, Claire betrays him, as well as this French dude that he recruited earlier. So at the end of the movie, Ethan has been betrayed by his father figure, his lover, and an ally. The only person still alive who hasn't betrayed him is Luther Stickle, who he just met a few days earlier, but now clings to as a close friend. Even though the movie doesn't really show it, by now Ethan is probably a little fucked up. So let's skip ahead 4 years to Mission Impossible 2. Ethan has now seemingly remade his entire personality. He spends all his time alone, and for fun he risks his life climbing cliffs with no safety gear and no one around. And still, after all these years, Luther seems to be his only friend. Despite not doing much socializing, Ethan seems to have studied human behavior and how to seduce and manipulate people. He's sent to recruit a woman for an operation, and he immediately falls in love with her. So now, some things are becoming clear. Ethan rarely interacts with other people, but has spent time studying how to manipulate them. And anytime he gets to know someone, he tends to latch onto them in an obsessive way. There's something wrong with this guy. So now we jump ahead 6 years to Mission Impossible 3. Suddenly, Ethan has a private life. His love interest from the previous movie is gone, but he's now engaged to a nice, normal woman who does not know he's a spy. At some point in the past decade, his mother passed away, and his only friend still seems to be Luther. Ethan is trying to leave behind his spy life and be a normal guy. He's no longer in the field, instead his day job is training new agents, but even in the ordinary parts of his life, he is obsessive, hyper-competent, and really intense. He gets married, but of course his spy life comes back, his wife finds out and almost dies, but it seems at the end like he might have found a balance between being a spy and having normal human relationships. Also, important thing to note, in this movie, Ethan Hunt dies. He gets revived, but for a moment he is technically dead. So let's skip ahead 5 years to Ghost Protocol. We learn that in the time since the previous movie, Ethan has faked his wife's death and ended their relationship as a means of keeping her safe. He realized that he cannot have regular human relationships and has thrown himself obsessively into his work. He spends 6 months in a Russian prison for a mission. He risks his life constantly, doing countless insane things in order to win. And between missions, who does he meet up with? Luther, still seemingly his only friend after 15 years. Now jump ahead 4 more years to Rogue Nation, the 5th film. Ethan has gone even further down the path he started on in the last movie, and it seems like everything that's happened over the past 20 years has been leading here. His difficulty trusting people and his failure to maintain relationships has led him to dedicate all his concerns as well as his obsessive nature to his job. He will do anything to complete the mission, or more accurately, to win. He'll risk his own life or the lives of his teammates. In this movie, he dies again, and this is where his teammates start catching on that there's something wrong with Ethan Hunt. He is actually out of his mind. He's a crazy person. Obviously, in these movies, characterization has always been secondary, But if you look closely, there is a thread through all 5 movies. Ethan Hunt begins as a guy with a boring Midwest upbringing, no father, probably went to an Ivy League school, joined the military, recruited to the IMF, which gives him a purpose. He tends to latch on to people only for them to betray him or for their relationships to fail. He tries to be a normal person, but it doesn't work. You're watching a young secret agent slowly unravel over 20 years, as he becomes more and more obsessed with the only constant in his life, the mission. But let's go deeper, because there's more to Ethan Hunt than that. Ethan Hunt is a lot of things, but... Ooh, boy, pressure. Okay, so Ethan Hunt is a lot of things, but mostly he's Tom Cruise. Ethan Hunt is Tom Cruise's avatar, a reflection of who Tom Cruise is, who he wants to be, and how we see him. In the 90s, he's the young hotshot, the guy who knows he's the best there is at what he does. In 2000, he's an unstoppable god, the guy who's such a huge star that he can make a movie like Vanilla Sky gross $200 million. Then, at the height of the Katie Holmes era, when Cruise wanted to be seen as a regular guy in love with his wife, Ethan Hunt suddenly became a normal guy with a normal personal life. But Cruise's public perception had changed. People no longer accepted him as a normal guy, and the result is the lowest grossing film in the series. They think Tom Cruise is a crazy weirdo, so Ethan Hunt acknowledges that. His personal life went away, the underlying obsession and craziness rose to the surface. If the general public thinks of Tom Cruise as a maniac, then Ethan Hunt will become a maniac. So who is Ethan Hunt? He is Tom Cruise, as a person, as an actor, and as an idea.
Jesus Christ, we'll pick Ethan Hunt.
No. I'm not trying to tell you who to choose. I'm just giving you some more information so you can make an informed decision.
It's fine. We'll pick Ethan Hunt.
Great. I will show myself out the way I came in.
Can we get back to the brackets? I like brackets.
Yes. Okay, next up. Nick Fury or Jason Bourne?
Well, that's easy. It would be Nick Fury, because Jason Bourne, he's barely a character.
Actually,
Oh my god.
one more minute, guys. Sorry to take up your time, but I wouldn't be so quick to write off Jason Bourne. There's a lot to consider. If you take a look at this PowerPoint presentation that I put together...
Alright, Jack Bauer or Harry Tasker?
Well, that's easy. It's Harry Tasker. Jack Bauer is barely even a character.
Alright, Aaron Cross or William Brandt?
Well, that's easy. It's Aaron Cross, because William Brandt's barely even a character.
George Smiley or Austin Powers?
I can't do Austin Powers.
Wait, just give us a couple more tries.
Hello guys, welcome back. Thank you so much for watching. And yes, that's right, we made another video about Mission Impossible. I had the idea for this one while researching the last one, and the new movie comes out in a week, so I figured I should just get these out of my system now, and then we can move on to new things. And by the way, I see the new movie on Monday. I'm very, very excited. And special thanks to our own Mike Curran for coming up with most of the framing device for this video. Usual stuff, if you wanna help us keep making these videos and also make them bigger and cooler, check out the Patreon. Merch is available now. You should subscribe to our podcast, We Heart Harden. New episodes drop every Tuesday morning. If you want to yell at me about stuff and get updates on what we're working on, follow me on all the social medias. And I'll probably see you here next Wednesday, I think.